Hey, what's up, guys? Coming back to you from the deck project. Hey, let's start there. I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm doing on the deck and what it looks like. So, the deck actually was a screened-in porch, and you can look over here. And this is the way it was framed. It's just kind of standard 2x4, and the screen was wrapped around on the outside, and they added these pieces in here to stop roll from the joist and also just provide some shelves. So I've stripped all the fence off of everything, all the screen off of everything. And on this side, you'll notice that I've got the wall actually tore out. It wasn't actually supporting anything. The wall that is over here that the camera's actually sitting on is the load bearing for the roof here. So what I'm doing is putting in a hot tub over here. Me and the wife decided to buy a hot tub. We've actually bought the hot tub. So now I've got to get it ready to go in. I've got to add some additional support because hot tubs are very heavy. So I ordered some helical piers to go under the deck, make sure I can put those in, get everything leveled up really good with those piers. You can wrench on them and they'll pull it up a little bit. And then add another layer of pressure treated plywood down here on the floor, stain and paint everything, or stain and seal everything rather. And then the hot tub can go in. I got some electrical work I got to do out here too. We're going to make a nice seated patio area. So if you wonder what I'm doing on my deck, and I don't know, that's what I'm doing. We're all guys. Who's not interested in a construction project? Look, the reason I brought you here today was to talk about step number 2 from that first video. I'll link it up here, which was the 3 steps of that men need to take if you have depression or are trying to fight depression. And step number 2 was identifying your symptoms of depression. I thought about it, maybe that should be step number 1, but if you're here, I'm pretty sure you already know you have depression, so I don't know if that's necessarily important, but you might be surprised about some of the things that are depression. So there's actually 14. I'm going to run through them real quick. If you guys want me to expand on any of them, my own personal experience, then I will. Just leave a comment below. And while you're at it, like, subscribe to the channel. That'd be really cool. All right, let's get going with steps number 1 through 5. So number 1 would be if you have an increased need for drugs or alcohol. Personally, my drug of choice is food. So drugs don't necessarily have to be something illegal or illicit. I'm addicted to sugar and carbohydrates, and I'm trying to get off of that. I'm down 24 pounds, I believe it is, so far in about 5 weeks. So that's good, doing the keto diet. Number 2, engaging in high-risk activities. That could be from driving fast to hooking up with multiple women, multiple sexual partners, multiple other guys, who knows. Anger and irritability. I've talked about this a lot. This was probably number 1 for me, is just super irritable, flying off the handle really quick, and getting angry over the slightest little drop of the hat. And then number 4, escapist behavior. So do you spend more time at work because you don't want to go home and deal with it? Or are you sucked into video games or a construction project, right? Like, it could be anything, but if you're doing it to escape reality, you need to take a step back. Number 5, trouble sleeping. So that's a big one. I mean, you feel like during the day, all you want to do is go to bed. Then when you go to bed, you get up and you can't sleep, right? So that could be caused from a lot of things. Could be some medical things going on there too. Like, I have sleep apnea, and that was a big deal for me. And I had to get that worked on and have a CPAP machine and all of that. So could be a symptom of depression. Okay. Steps 6 through 10, feeling anxious. I've never suffered from anxiety in an extreme sense. However, I have noticed that there have been times in the last 4 or 5 months, I talked about it in another video, like, I didn't want to go check my mail because I knew tax paperwork was coming in and I was going to have to file taxes. And I went a whole month without checking my mail. Ridiculous. Loss of interest in activities, including sex. Like, if you've lost your normal sex drive, if you are no longer interested in the hobby that you really care about, or you find yourself disassociated from your children, your family, your spouse, those are all things that could be signs of depression. Number 8, feeling sad, lonely, and worthless. I think that one goes without saying, but sometimes it just helps to verbalize it. Number 9, suicidal thoughts or attempts. I want to expand on this one just a second because I've been down that road. Number 1, most people who are suicidal or have attempted to commit suicide that I've spoken to It's not that they had a desire to hurt themselves. A lot of people think that that's what it is. It's really a desire not to be here, at least with me. So I'm going to speak from my own personal experience and people that I know personally. It's just a desire to stop existing and a desire to kind of stop the mental pain that you're going through. So not necessarily, hey, I'm gonna go hurt myself because I want to hurt myself. That's actually, most people who commit suicide, they don't want it to be painful at all. They're Googling how to do it quickly, how to do it painlessly. So it's actually the opposite of that. You just don't want to exist. If you're feeling that way, reach out to a medical professional immediately if you're in a crisis. Number 10, physical ailments, random pains, headaches, stomach issues, for absolutely no reason. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have a cold, you don't have the flu, you don't have a stomach bug, but your mental stress and your mental depression can affect you physically. And likewise, physical issues can affect your mental health. So I suffer from kidney stones. So anybody with chronic pain, if you've ever noticed them where they're constantly in pain, have a real struggle with keeping a positive mindset, and ultimately they get on the path of depression because they are always into pain and it's always uncomfortable and it hurts and it's depressing. All right, okay. Last 4 symptoms of depression in men. Zoning out, not being able to keep up with your responsibilities. So you're just 1,000-yard stare. Nope, I'm fine. Sitting on your porch, you're drinking a beer, just gazing off into nothingness. You're at work and that happens. That happened to me a number of years ago where I literally stood at a computer for 20 minutes and my assistant manager had to come up to me and be like, dude, are you okay? You haven't moved. Didn't even realize that much time had elapsed. So make sure if you're experiencing those things that you're accounting for what they truly are. Isolation, you want to be alone. You're getting in these days and times, you're getting your social interaction by doom scrolling on social media. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever your poison of choice is, you feel like that's your social interaction and you're perfectly comfortable with that instead of being around real people. I work remote. I work from home. So it's also a challenge when you're not in an office or an environment around other people. If you work alone, you have to actively seek out social interactions. Make sure you're doing that. Mood swings. I think that goes back with the anger and irritability. I think a lot of men, it's really, you go from moody, I'm fine, leave me alone, to anger, irritability. But it could be other things. You could have dramatic swings from feeling super happy all of a sudden and then someone say something or you see something and you just instantly drop off a cliff. I've experienced that. Day's going great. You're like, man, I feel pretty good today. And then someone says something and you're in the pit of despair all of a sudden. And then finally, the last one is going to be controlling or abusive or violent behavior. That does crop up with depression. That's an extreme form of the irritability and mood swings. So if you are that way, I hope that you recognize that and you definitely need to seek medical intervention and get some medication to help you control that, and also that cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT therapy, to help you overcome those issues and figure out why you are expressing your depression, anger, and irritability in such a dramatic way, and do it before you hurt somebody that you love. So those are the 14 kind of symptoms that are unique to men. Obviously, other people, women can suffer from them as well, but men definitely seem to suffer from those types of things more. Again, my personal experience in men, I think the big ones are going to be isolation, irritability, anger, and probably I'm going to tie the alcohol, drug, and risky behavior thing together. That's a form of escapism, I guess, but that can look a lot of different ways for a lot of guys. So just recognize that. And if you do, make sure you write those things down. And generally, if you have 4 or more symptoms, right, symptoms of these things, 4 or more of those, of depression, then what you actually have is called Major Depressive Disorder. And that is a clinical diagnosis that your doctor, psychiatrist can then at that point lean into prescribing you medication and controlling that through medication. Hope that helps. I know that was a lot and I went through them quick. Again, if you want me to expand on any of them or do some separate videos, leave a comment down below. I'd appreciate it. Like, subscribe to the channel. Check out some of my other videos. I would appreciate it. Talk to you guys later.